What's up? Travel Chronicles chapter 67, 68. I can't remember. Should have looked. Last night, Faith wanted to practice some dribbling, some basketball stuff. And I love basketball. I enjoy watching it, playing it. You know, I never had the instruction or the help, that my kids had when I was their age from somebody that, looked at the game, studied the game, was constantly trying to get better at the game. I'm 43 years old. Like, I'm still trying to get better at basketball. I'm still trying to understand things to help other people get better. It's just, I think if you like a sport or like something like that, then that's what you do. I like running too. I keep trying to get better at running. And people may look at me like, well, just go run. You want to get better at basketball, just play basketball. Well, no, not necessarily. Like, there's certain things you need to do so that you can be better at basketball, like just, practicing dribbling and passing and things. Yeah, you can practice shooting and moves and stuff, but there's a lot of fundamental things that go into basketball that people don't really think about. Like, everybody wants to see the flashy ball handler who can spin and go behind the back and make a layup and get by defenders and stuff, and that's great. But then you got to be able to stop the other team. Somebody has to be able to pass the other team, or else it's just going to be 1-on-5. Be able to pass the ball. What else? Rebounding, positioning, spacing, catch and shoot, footwork, communicating, talking to other people. There's just a bunch of little things that go into the game. Like, if you want to be good at the game, that you have to do, and I, mostly I try to teach her and Elijah everything, but there's a certain progression that you have to go through. You can't sit there with a third grader and try to explain defensive concepts to them and positioning and what they should do. It's like, hey, go get the ball and dribble. Once they're able to get that mindset, then you can start working with them on where to dribble to, or how to look for their teammates, and those types of things. And Faith came home and she was really motivated to practice because coach is dangling them. Oh, maybe you'll play varsity. Maybe you'll play varsity, and maybe she will. And I think the thing about the coach is he's like a little bit surprised by some of these freshmen that are coming in, how good they are at basketball, right? Because you can have teams win games in basketball not having athletes, right? If you just have athletes, you can be faster than people, you can be stronger than people, you can be able to out-jump people, and you can win basketball games, be stronger. And at the junior high level, especially in girls basketball, it can be a little misleading records, right? Because not all teams play basketball, right? And there's certain, it's like, well, the score is the score. If you can put the ball in the bucket, that's basketball. And depending on how you play, right? So if you're up in a team's face, pressing the team the entire game, especially in junior high, you're not going to have that many ball handlers. Teams are going to turn the ball over, and you're going to be able to get easy baskets, right? Especially if you have athletic girls who can run around, get their hand in the passing lane, or willing to gamble and know that they have somebody back, maybe a tall girl back, to help block around the rim, because they're not going to make a ton of jump shots, right? So if you're able to just jump the passes, and you can teach a team to do that. We're going to full court press. This is what we're going to do. We're going to rotate 3-4 girls in. and we're just going to press, and try to get layups on the other end. Right after the team turns the ball over, there's one or two girls back that you have to beat, and then you're right back in your press. And you may actually not move a whole lot, depending on how effective your press is. And you can blow teams out. You can beat teams by 30, 40 points because you're able to press. But you run up against a team that can handle the ball, and now you have to play half-court defense, right? And you're not getting these run-out layups, and all of a sudden you have to execute in a half-court offense. Now it becomes a lot harder game, right? And that's what her team was. Like, they didn't take the easy route to beat teams. They would still beat teams by double digits, but they were playing half-court defense, half-court offense. Get a rebound, run, fine. But they weren't looking to just turn you over in the backcourt, turn you over, and try to get easy layups. And he's seeing, these girls actually play basketball. So, how can I incorporate it? Because if you get a freshman team come in, it's like, we had, 20 wins and 2 losses, or 15-2, or something like that, or 15-1. Oh, okay. Well, what'd you guys do? Did you actually play basketball? And that's the same way my son's team was. They played zone defense. They didn't press teams, but they could beat a press. You didn't want to press. If you pressed them, you were going to get beat. That's how, many ball handlers they had. And guys they had that were comfortable handling the ball. It's like, eventually there's going to be a mismatch. If you're going to run all these guys up and play, press man full court, our fourth best ball handler is better than your fourth guy playing full court defense. Or our third best ball handler. Or here's a tall kid we can get the ball to in the middle of the court and then cut off of him and then get somebody open. Then you're beat. And then we have an odd number, able to get a layup on the other. So that's the thing. Coaches, that level usually aren't able to adjust and make changes. But if you can play a good base defense and have a good offense that you're able to execute, you're going to win a lot of games. Regardless of talent, skill level. And that's the thing about it. Faith. She's not. She's athletic. Like, she has really good hand-eye coordination. And that's just from her brother throwing stuff at her. You look at my house, you better be ready to get stuff thrown at you. And be ready to catch stuff. But she's not overly fast, right? She's not an incredible leaper. She's not incredibly strong. But she is a really good ball handler. And she's a tremendous passer for being a 15-year-old girl. Just for being a 15-year-old. She's an incredible passer. And, she can just see things that other people, can't see, or, she's willing to try to make a pass that other people wouldn't even be able to make. So, I worked on a little bit last night, just making passes off the dribble. And that's something that, I didn't have when I was growing up with somebody to help me and try to teach me stuff and work on stuff with me, drills, or try to help my shooting form. I'm not sure how I shot in high school. I know my shooting form now is completely different. And a lot of it I didn't understand the concept. Keep your elbow in, and in the cookie jar. Okay, gotcha. But now being older, okay. You want the elbow in so that the ball goes straight to the basket. But it doesn't have to be uncomfortably in. There's a certain range the elbow can be in, and you can shoot it. And the trajectory of the ball is going to go, your hand and the ball are going straight towards the rim. They're not coming at an angle. They're not going off to the side. They're coming straight down. And that's what you have to strive. It has to be comfortable. You don't want to shoot uncomfortable. And I think, well, yeah, it's going to be uncomfortable at first. Well, like I can keep my elbow in, and this is uncomfortable right here, but I can out here it's not uncomfortable, and I can still get the right trajectory on the ball. You know, it's kind of about, you have to be comfortable shooting, one, and then two, yeah, you have to have your hand mechanics right. You know, finger spacing, ball in the hands, position of the hands around the ball. You know, your left hand needs to not get in the way. And I see some people teaching or trying to comment on like Steph Curry's shot, because sometimes he'll shoot and he'll come through with a thumb flick. They're like, oh, you know, you can get more distance with a thumb flick and this, that, and the other. No, I can shoot with a thumb flick, and I know where it came from. Okay? It came from years and years of shooting like this at the hoop, out of my chest, like a chest pass to the basket. Okay? And then eventually that motion gets ingrained into the left hand, so that now whenever you shoot the ball, it's coming through like this rather than staying on the side. And Faith has actually been taught from a very young age not to do that. You know, not to do that. She has good form. I don't say she has great, she has this little hitch in her shot. She has good form. And her hand mechanics are good. You know, she can do a little more snap. This is where you get backspin on the ball. With this, spread the fingers, pop the wrists, the ball will spin backwards, and then if you get it high enough, it'll come down and check up on the rim, and then you get a chance for the ball to go in. So if you're a good shooter, what makes you a good shooter? The ball goes in a lot. Well, there's sometimes that you can help it, right, or give yourself a better chance of it going in by doing some things and getting the ball to check up on the rim. You know, if you miss a shot, now it's not just, you know, hitting the rim and bouncing off. Now maybe it'll hit, go up, and then have a chance to come down and go in. That's all the mechanics of shooting, and that's something that I've learned within the last 10 years. You know, just watching stuff, reading stuff, learning stuff, and hearing other people explain things, and wow, that makes a ton of sense. You know, but people saying, oh, you can shoot with this thumb flick, that's not a thing you can teach somebody to do. That's something that's learned, and it's not a mechanical advantage, because it puts a side spin on the basketball and will throw the ball off to the other side. Now, if you get right behind it, you can get more distance. And I find myself, if I'm shooting from far, far away, or at least, you know, in my mind, I think, well, this is a lot further away. I need to, you know, really load up. I'll let that left hand get behind the ball a little bit and push it. But that's way out there. And I would never, ever try to teach somebody to get their thumb behind a basketball and flick it through. Just use your positioning, and if you need to, you can actually you know, twist a little bit. As long as your hip momentum, everything is going towards the basketball. I have figured that out. That's hard. That's high level. She's nowhere near that yet. I think, yeah, we'll see how this goes. You know, I understand. Hey, like, you can play varsity, and like, oh, maybe she will, you know, work a little bit harder, get a little bit better. Like, she's a good basketball player. Should she be playing varsity as a freshman? Depends on what's in front of her. You know, it depends on how many good girls are in front of her. You know, oh, should she be taking a spot away from a junior or a sophomore? Maybe. You know, how good is this team? Like, if you're not going to win games anyway, well then, yeah, why not play the younger girl? You know, especially if it's a difference of losing by 5 or losing by 10. You know, what makes the difference? You know, I'm going to have her for 4 more years. You know, and she may be able to get better enough through the season where, you know, at the end of the year, now you can win those games. But here's my contention, though. Same thing I've said with all these other sports. 15, 16-year-old girls, you don't know who's going to be good game in and game out. Like, you can't look at me in the face and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's it. That's what we got. Because you don't know what's going to happen. Maybe they broke up with their boyfriend. Maybe their cat died or something. And they're just an emotional wreck. You know, the coach has got to be able to find that girl that's having a good night and let her go. We'll see how this season goes. So she's going to play her scrimmage Saturday. We'll see how much time she actually gets. Because practice time is one thing. Everybody's practicing. You got to go against the other team. So everybody's going to be on the court. But then when it gets down to you only put 5 out there, who's that 5 going to be? Is she going to start? No, she's not going to start. I don't think she's going to start. There's another freshman that's going to start. But, you know, even that girl is kind of like in 7th grade. She was the best 7th grade basketball player in the school. Not girl, in the school. That's how good she was. And she could make all them passes. One-handed pass off the dribble, look over the top, drop it in on somebody. Like, she could make that pass as a 7th grader on the run. And then last year, like, she's had some injuries. Don't know if it's affecting her or what, but she wasn't quite as good. She hadn't progressed quite as much. And I think she's more of a softball person than a basketball person. You know, I don't know if she's doing a lot of stuff in the off-season to get better at basketball. I think she's doing a lot of stuff to get better at softball. I don't know about basketball. So, you know, we'll see how much better she is this year. I'm sure she's gotten better. But, you know, it'll be interesting to see. You know, it'll be interesting to see if Faith actually does get a shot, because I can see her getting her heart broken. It's like, look, you're a freshman. You should be happy playing reserve. Like, I figured coming in, she would probably start on the reserve team and maybe play some decent minutes in reserve. Maybe just sniff the court on varsity, kind of like what her brother did. He got on the court like twice, I think, as a freshman, and that was it. You know, and she maybe get a little bit more than that, but now he's talking about maybe bumping her up there. So we'll see. I hope she doesn't sit out reserve. I hope she does play reserve just for reps and feeling good. All right. I'll see you later. Careful. COVID free.